Hey, check your email too. Hey, what's up, boss?
Hey, what's up?
How'd your day wrap up?
Very, very promptly, and it's another very busy day.
So, how are you digging being a grade level team? Grade team level, grade level captain?
Yeah, um, it's a lot of hats. Like it's once one hat is over, it's the other hat is back on. It's fun. It's just that like today I spent the whole day in the dean's office, which was exciting. But like now we're gonna chat some coding, and then I'm gonna dive right into grade level teams right after this. So it's just
Yep.
it's a fun little carousel.
Hey, I just printed some stuff out. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab them.
Grab it. Yep. This is just me. Yep.
Hey, did you see my text?
No.
There's one. It was from yesterday.
Crap, I don't even know where my phone is. Okay.
There's a passing period because I have to do push-ins over in sixth grade,
Mhm.
like a couple periods a week. So for those passing periods, I'm down there. So
Can you email that to me?
yeah,
Because I'm going to compile this and I need to make a coverage schedule, so that's great to know.
yeah.
Just send that to me in an email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just because it was the same day that you had said we want to hear our voices, so you weren't getting the mic.
No, it's totally fine. I just want to make sure that I know that like you're down there too. It'll be helpful. Okay.
Are you on, Michael? Michael?
I can't hear him.
Do you know anything about the GLTV?
It'll be like
Okay.
we're gonna get data dumps and you'll just sort of dive through them. Yeah.
I wanted to ask Fowler, but then he's like in here.
Yeah, he's gonna give you the agendas with 4 at the time. He'll pull you from content type.
Perfect. Thanks.
Michael, if you can hear me, I don't have audio from you.
We can see him now.
Hey, there he is. Hi.
I can't hear you.
I think I could lip read that. Hi there. Okay, sounds good.
Wait, is Michael speakerphoning you right now?
Yes. But he's going to get another computer. And I think that maybe Ben just joined. Ben, we gotta get your video, dude. And audio. Oh, the struggle.
It's gotta be there.
All right. So, is the webcam light on? Like up at the top of your screen, there should be a webcam. Is the light on, Ben?
That's going full screen.
Ben, you can hear me, right? I need you to text me your answer in the chat. Okay. Ben, at the top of the screen, you should see your webcam, and there should be a little light on. Adnan, you have a Lenovo. Is there a light on in yours?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's the same model, but if it is, it's going to be on the right side. Should be a green light that's on.
Okay. Ben, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go. Do you have your phone on you right now?
I think that might be a response to you. Yes, sir. Is that not?
Okay, Ben, I need you to go and download Google Hangouts app on your phone. And that's going to be your backup plan until we can troubleshoot why your webcam is not working.
What's that Google thing behind you?
Oh, I'm at the EC. This is the Google room. Google built a room out in the Entrepreneur Center. It's got like all sorts of cool seating and a treadmill with a dry erase board workstation on top of it.
Pretty cool. What the world?
Where'd Michael go?
I think he went to go get another computer.
But I mean, he just came back and then signed off.
Oh, I don't know.
We gotta get this system down so we're not losing time. Adnan, have you heard anything from that work order?
Nope. And that's something I want to follow up with today. I honestly don't know how much Colson will be able to do on her own besides like checking the routers, which may be the case, but again, like you said, I feel like this is more line than routers. Perhaps.
Have you had a chance to look at that HTML CSS book at all, Adnan?
Yep, I flipped through. I haven't looked through it deeply, but I flipped through it. Well, can't tell you anything in detail, but should there be something I'm looking at specifically?
Not yet. We will be, so the HTML CSS unit starts in 5 weeks.
Right.
And so obviously, like, we're going to stay focused on what we're doing right now, but there does have to be some prep time before it of like review and looking through it. And the book is a really quick read. It's probably the best HTML CSS book I've found so far.
Okay.
Michael, I think I hear you.
Hey,
Hey.
I'm using my phone for this.
Okay, that's what I just told Ben to do.
Cool.
Ben is downloading the app. Are you still there, Ben? We are 3/4 of the way there, too. All right, Ben can hear us right now. He's going to join in on his phone as soon as he has the app installed. But we're going to go ahead and get started so we don't lose any more time. So, first of all, I know I've said this to you all individually in some form or fashion, but congratulations on getting through our very first week of computer programming classes. That's really exciting. And every single person that has come in and seen you guys teach has quickly come back to me with utter excitement and joy and happiness from seeing you all in action. Speaking of joy, I wanted each of us to just have a moment to share out on one of the things that I saw you do that week that was just particularly awesome. I asked for you all to watch that opening clip with Michael, just the first like 5 or 10 minutes of it. And so I want Michael to just share a little bit about how he's been so successful at like getting the kids buy-in so quickly.
Thanks, Ryan. So what I've been trying to do is connect everything we're doing to the rationale of why we're doing it, which I know seems pretty basic, but just trying to create those real-world connections for kids in terms of like why I repeat products with a lot of those things, and then just letting the passion show myself and giving kids a lot of time to discuss and debate each of these things. I think if I hadn't been doing the amount of shoulder partner conversation I've been doing, it wouldn't be very successful right now. But because I'm giving them the space to do that, I think it's made it more successful.
So definitely the shoulder partner time and the dialogue. It's wild to me, just thinking back on my years of teaching, it's wild to me how, like, when you say turn to your shoulder partners and talk, I mean, the class just, like, goes on fire. I mean, there's, like, not a single kid that has this, like, awkward looking, like, I don't know what to say. I mean, every one of them is just, like, so excited to share their opinions and ideas.
I had them behind the camera.
You put all the disengaged kids behind the camera. That's
Exactly.
a smart strategy. So shoulder partner, really engaging on the why. So, like, give me an example. When we were dealing with, like, let's say the programming art lesson and talking about, like, explicit and ambiguous instructions and pseudocode, like, how did you make pseudocode relevant and meaningful to the students?
So for explicit versus ambiguous, I had them give me examples of. I went back to the day one of, like, getting people out the door, and had us do, like, examples of explicit and ambiguous code there, and, like, purposely ran into the wall repeatedly, just to, like, prove how ambiguous code was unhelpful for getting computers to do anything.
I loved the line. You had a statement where you said, if I told you to get up and go out the door, then you would know to keep walking, but then when you got to the front of the class, you'd stop and turn right because you're smart. Computers are not. And so, like, that specific example hit home for me big time.
Awesome.
Adnan, after day one and realizing just sort of the obstacles that were tied to creating accounts, which definitely Ben has not quite had the chance to deal with as much because of his technological problems over at NACS. But I think it's real clear that that's, like, the most difficult thing we have to do, right? Just, like, getting Gmail accounts set up and Code Academy. So, like, how, like, on day two, it was just crazy how much smoother your classes ran on, like, getting accounts set up and everything. Like, what changed?
I think with the first one, it just wasn't, like, clear. Like, I wasn't very clear about, like, okay, even if there's, like, not, if you don't have an account, here's how you do it, here's what you do. The second day, what I did was I just had, like, clear checkpoints. I had a clear way of communicating to them when I need to give instructions. So, like, I sort of piggybacked off a procedure we had last year for laptops where you basically go 45, eyes on me, I'll give you a set of 3 instructions. Once you've done them, give me a thumbs up. I create a checkpoint, I walk around, if it's set good, you can go on to the next checkpoint, which might be, so for example, I say, all right, screens at 45, here's what needs to happen. You go to drive.google.com. Once you're there, you leave your screen open, you give me a thumbs up, I'll check it, then plug in your password and username. Once you're there, and then, like, what I did was, at that point, I had them go back to 45 and then explain to them, so you're going to skip phone verification, no downloading, your screen should look like this. I showed them my drive, and I told them, like, there won't be, like, any documents here because you haven't put any yet. The side should look exactly like that. That's what you're looking for, go. And then, like, a lot of them, like trying to figure out how to get there, so they'll get there on their own. And once they get the screen up with their Google Drive, to give me a thumbs up. And I think the last point of that was just there'd be some fringe students who, like, they entered their email address wrong, and so you can get to them because the majority of the class are just getting through it, and so you just calm and move to them and say, like, you look through it. There was, other than that, like, there were no major issues. I don't know if that was clear enough, but let me know if there's...
The 2 big things that I want to sort of pull out of that, and I didn't even really realize it while watching you, but 3 was the magic number. Like, it just always felt like you had given them just enough for them to, like, get through, but not so much that they started forgetting the first things you said. And secondly, it was really helpful to actually, is anybody there? I feel like we're, like, losing people coming back.
Yeah, mine keeps popping on and off.
And Ben is apparently in the chat for different ways.
Okay, well, it's being broadcast, I guess.
We're gonna get this. At least we didn't all have to drive somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ben, I'm sorry guys. Ben, can you hear me right now? I want to make sure you get this because you're going to go through this next week. Yay. Okay. The 3 instructions was key. You also, another thing you changed on Tuesday was after you gave the instructions, like you obviously modeled it on the screen while you were explaining it. But then, like once they started going, you went back and modeled it again at sort of the pace that the majority of the students are going through, so they could like look up and remember where the next thing is. And that was really great. So Ben, once you get with us, I'm going to have you talk about when the whole world falls apart and you have no internet and all of your kids are just staring at you and how you dealt with that so elegantly and wonderfully. Once you're able to talk, which hopefully, Ben?
Can you hear me?
Ben.
All right, can you hear me all right?
Yes. Many times.
Yeah.
Guys, if you have headphones, it's a lot easier. Like a headphone with a microphone built in, that's really effective. Okay, Ben, talk to us about your week. Tell us what you learned this week.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
So, Benjamin sounds like Beastie Boys.
Like what? Like what? Like what?
What was? Remember Intergalactic?
Why is everything?
Oh God.
I'm right here. Hello?
All right, so sounds good. Ben, talk to me.
Just to be clear, Ryan.
Anybody?
Can you hear me?
Hey, Adnan, how's it going?
I just put my earphones in.
Oh, that's so nice. Michael, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Great.
And Ben, where we at? Ben?
I think he dropped.
He's texting us if he's still there.
He's still here.
Okay, I tell you what, I'm going to get going on the next couple things. Ben, you just listen, and if you can do both, also see if you can get a better connection going. Okay, so just overall, and this is open to anybody, what do you think is going to be the most valuable thing to work on just before Monday to be prepared for next week?
Clear instructions and procedures for delivering instructions while laptops are open. I think that I have a lot of muscle memory for classrooms in which there's pencil and paper.
Yep.
I have to develop more muscle memory for when there's laptops and headphones.
Yep. Like realizing that when you say star and 5, a kid with headphones watching a video just literally may not hear you.
Yeah.
Those sort of kind of things that are unique to dealing with laptops. On Monday, Scratch exploration, there's time where kids are like supposed to just freely explore Scratch. What metrics are you going to use to like monitor on and off task behavior during that time period?
Could you say that one more time?
So we know that Monday is Scratch exploration, and there's like 15 minutes, I think, built in for kids to just freely explore. Like, what are you looking for to make sure that students are getting the most out of that time?
I think Ben has a good point there. Part of it is also like, so just patrolling the back, like the first and most baseline, expectation there is like you're looking at every screen and seeing Scratch. That's part one. And then part two, that you're seeing that like blocks are moving, like if or there's like movement, like if it's just kids are like on a screen. I think one big thing there is that you want to see that they're looking inside code, so you see them looking at the like, Scratch IDE and not going just to a game and like finding a Scratch version of Flappy Bird and playing it, which is one thing I imagine them doing. If we're not clear that like I want you messing with the code as well as like looking at new things, because one thing that I've seen them do when we did like CodeHS is that they would go to like the CodeHS projects where like kids would make Java, like there would be like JavaScript versions of like Flappy Bird, and instead of actually like trying to manipulate the code, they would just play the Flappy Bird and sit there and not actually like explore like what was being built into it. So giving like a very positively framed version of like I want you to look into the code, not just the final products. Is that?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, there shouldn't be any time in the lesson where they're exploring other projects.
Okay.
I think the exploration is purely inside. So like direct instruction is you walking them through just like getting the cat, running back and forth. And then you give them time to explore other things they can do with that project.
Okay.
They're not going to like other people's projects.
Okay, I feel like maybe then I'm misremembering there. I thought there was a point. Is there not a point ever next week where they're looking at other projects too, or is that?
It was something we talked about like back in March or something.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm misremembering.
Never made it to the final draft. Yeah. So like, how do you differentiate a kid that's like not trying versus a kid that just isn't sure what to do? Like, how do you guide kids that maybe seem like they're not doing anything as like a cognitive thing and not a discipline thing?
I mean, the first thing that like I think like you set some expectations on the front end that like I'm literally asking you to like just try things. So even if you're confused, start dragging and hit run.
Yeah, that's
so, like,
great.
Giving like a clear like instruction for even kids who literally don't know what to do. Like I want you to drag and drop and click run and see what happens. Like, the challenges we were talking about, also like a great idea. Like, all right, so you're really stuck on something else to do? How about this? See if you can make the cat, like you said, like run around in a circle, go back and forth. Like, there are going to be kids who would really be up to challenges and like say like, for a merit, and sometimes I like, telegraph this, like for a merit, see if you can get the cat to run back and forth and say hi in the middle without having taught them anything about like say blocks or anything like that. See if they can just figure it out. For the kid who like just is too scared to get started, like have them like I think like just I need you to see you drag and drop something and hit play. I don't know that you've tried anything until I've seen you like literally drag a couple blocks in and just hit play to see what they do. Because that's the bare minimum for someone to like just just explore, like see what they do. You can click around, click every one of the blocks and see which one seems interesting and try it.
I also think, Ryan, like to go back to the conversation in our check-in today, like are they asking questions? Because they should never be doing nothing, right? They should either be trying something or asking questions, but nothing, non-activity is not an option.
Right, and making that real clear. Like, there aren't like specific metrics we're looking for in terms of output other than just seeing you dragging stuff. And if you're dragging stuff and the expected outcome isn't happening, then ask somebody why and get help. If I'm not mistaken, the actual programming values goal for that day is like the coincidental code. When you're circulating the room, make sure that you're pushing kids on why. why does this work? Why does this do what it's doing? And get them to like explain, well, it says to turn, so I guess that means that like it's making the character like rotate, you know, like make sure that you're pushing them on, like they understand what the combination of blocks is producing. So highlights and weakest parts, we're going to skip right now because I think I've gotten that in the forms from you guys and we're a little bit behind on time. So looking at like the specific content that's in all of the upcoming lessons, what are like the range of different blocks and sort of skill sets that you want your kids to get out of the exploration? Like, are there specific things you're going to ask them outside of just looking around that you want to see them develop an understanding of?
I want them to like really dig into the different ways to move a character. So like move versus glide versus go.
Yeah.
I think that's really important for them to internalize now, as well as all of the reset codes and the actually the reset might come more through direct instruction, but through the orientation of characters.
Be real clear, like what is the difference between, say, like code inside of a loop versus reset? And get that. I mean, that's definitely something to come back to all week.
Okay.
The direct instruction is mapped out to be 15 minutes. Try and stick to that as close as you can. I really want to make sure that they have a good amount of time to explore.
Okay.
If you have kids like Ben did, so Ben has run this lesson, by the way, which I'm definitely sad that we're not able to hear from him right now because I'd love to hear some of his feedback about running the lesson. And Ben, if you can keep trying to get connected, that would be awesome. The tutorials that are on computersciencelessons.com, like send kids there if they get kind of through things early. Like if you feel like they're having problems being creative, but they've clearly like gotten through some of the blocks that you've talked about, like there's nothing wrong with sending them to those tutorials and letting them experiment with that.
Excuse me.
Day 2 gets into like the actual challenges. If I'm not mistaken, all of these challenges are challenges that we did in class together. Yes, we made the square.
I think so. Yeah, they're like I think if I remember, one of them was like lower rigor version of like what we already did. But yeah.
Yep. So the challenges are in a document. I would definitely have those printed out. I don't remember those being. Adnan, you made the guided notes for this day, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Did you print out all of the challenges in your guided notes?
Yep.
Yeah, and you had that fabulous example of the 90 degrees in a square. On these challenges, unlike the exploration, definitely hold the kids to a high standard on like getting it exactly the way the instructions ask for. Like if it's moving in a square but so fast that it's kind of difficult to see the movement, like make sure they can slow it down. Push them on the math that goes into it, right? Like especially for our 8th graders, like 90 degrees, what does that mean? After it's done a complete square, how many degrees has it turned? How did we get that? You know, like definitely make those connections for them. Once again, the kids that get done early, send them over to those challenges that are on the Computer Science Lessons website. Before you teach that lesson, you all should definitely go back and do those challenges yourself, just to like refresh some of the trouble spots that kids will run into. Are you guys feeling like you have enough time to continue to play around with Scratch just as like explorers and learners?
I can like, you know, set a hard hour this weekend to like dedicate to that. I mean, if you're talking about like deep dives into Scratch, I honestly can't commit to a ton of time. I can definitely say that I can like look into the the challenges that are on the website. I can commit to it and like say I can do over the weekend. But more than that, like I can't make myself an expert in the next. Is there an echo right now?
Yeah, I think Ben joined.
But yeah, I think that like for me, honestly, like I'll be able to like commit to the challenges that are there, but I can't say much more than like that level over the course of the next couple of days at least.
Yeah, just I would really encourage you. I mean, obviously, like weekend is y'all's time, and I understand how busy being the grade level team is, like group captain. I think it will help you if before you start teaching the Scratch lessons, you just find time to just like have fun and spend an hour like playing with, like make a game, like challenge yourself just to make sure that you've gotten into those nooks and crannies that are outside the scope of what I've already written. Because you're going to find kids like going into the stamp tool or like going into some of the control features that we haven't talked about. Just the more you have a chance to sort of as a learner explore those areas, I think that will help you next week. Costumes versus challenge. In dealing with that lesson and the animation, I've made a lot of significant changes. When's the last time you've looked at that lesson?
Which one you were echoing?
Costumes versus changes.
Oh. I need to review that one again. I haven't looked at it in over a week.
Yep.
So that was the one that had the video with the animator in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I took the video out.
Okay.
Just with the intention of shortening the beginning sequence. I would love for you guys to like do a quick run through of some of the direct instruction and check the timing on it. If you recall, when we did that during summer training, we wound up feeling like it was like too much. It was too teacher heavy and not student heavy enough.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that lesson coming up a little bit short. I'm not sure, but I could see it coming up a little short. So over like between now and Thursday, go through and do a dry run, and if you need to, like come up with some extra examples so that the kids that get done early, like you could challenge them to push further, right? Like it goes in and has you animate the cat. We got rid of the like switch costume, and now we're just using next costume. But then like the guided practice, it just has them load up a bat and 2 other things, and has them like animate that just to practice, and then at the end it has them add sound. Michael, do you have any idea when those headphones are going to be in?
End of the week, I want to
say? Definitely, if possible, we need, like, the kids will need to use headphones on Thursday because we're introducing sound and like having Casey, the sprite Casey dance. That's not something we did a lot of during summer training, so that's definitely a point of content to like go over and refresh. Because just like with the animation, you have to use parallelism with the sound as well.
Okay.
Before we move on to all the little odds and ends stuff we need to talk about, is there any content regarding Scratch that you guys are concerned about or have questions about before we kind of wrap that part up?
No.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Cool. Journaling and homework. Where are we at right now with that? Specifically journaling.
For me, journaling will be spending the weekend fixing the Google accounts and adding the ones that are, and then journaling should start on Monday.
So you plan on having the kids journaling on Google Docs on Monday?
If you think that's the best day to put it in. And like give 5 minutes for them to like deal with getting logged on and everything.
Yes, I do.
I have to go through and make sure I just need to compare the list of journals that were shared with me and make sure that I have every journal shared with me. And if not, I know that there are like 4 that I need to make sure have their accounts working. Other than that, like I had a test run journaling session already. Which went not too bad. I think like it actually doesn't take too much time because you just click the next one, like journal, and like you can like take a quick grade snapshot of that. But one thing that like I think we need to do moving forward is start writing exemplars in our lesson plans, because it starts to become super subjective when you like have open-ended questions without like clear exemplar answers, and like what you're looking for, which is what my biggest hang-up was. So
I have a question. And now, how long did it take you to grade them?
Well, so the first time I did it, I only had about half. It took me about an hour, to get through it. Now, granted, this was like a one-sentence thing. This wasn't like a real like serious journaling expedition here.
Right.
So it'll be interesting once I get through like everyone journaling and journaling pretty seriously this week. That's where it'll be. That's where I'm really gonna see how it works.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So adding the clear exemplars when we're putting the actual like assignments, is there anything that we can do to simplify or speed up the process of grading the journals?
I wish like if it would be great if all of the like journal entries were actually, I don't know how this would work because you can't like adjust permissions for kids to have like access to parts of a document, but like if there were ever any way in which I could like have all of them in one big form, I mean you could do like Google Doc style, but I feel like that's not as like, or not Google Form style, I should say specifically. I think that like for me it's just that like it wasn't particularly difficult because like it was just looking at a set of shared folders. And I just had like a window open for like grades and a window open for like my shared with me docs. It wasn't particularly organized though this time around, and that's something I want to make sure I get down. Like it was literally me just clicking the next journal that was shared with me, the next journal that was shared with me. So I think if there were any sort of method in which like you could aggregate responses into one sheet, plug them in. I know that like it depends on what we're going for here. If we want them to get the experience with like using online documents and using word processors, then like obviously this is the reason we're using that. If this is literally the solution to like trying to find an easier way to grade, then I think that there are probably better ones out there that like we could find. But like if the goal here is for them to get better understanding of like word processing and like using the web, like then absolutely this is something to do. I just like I feel like from a sustainability standpoint, I don't know what it's going to look like once we have like journal entries that are 3 or 4 sentences, and I need to like really take my time in grading them day to day, because that's something that like is a serious concern of mine. I already can tell you like I know my weeks right now are going to be pretty jam packed, but like I don't know what that's going to look like once the journals start growing in length.
One recommendation when the kids are writing journals, make sure that they're putting their newest journal entry on top, so that when you're in the preview mode, like just hitting next, you're not having to scroll to find the current entry.
Right.
Tell me if you disagree. I think that the experience of using a word processor and like having one document that's theirs that they can go through and like see previous entries, as opposed to like a form where they're like submitting it and they don't really see it again, is important enough to be worth the extra time that it takes to grade it.
I absolutely think it's important, but I think that like the other weight there is that like it's about how frequent we do it, right? Like I think that like if I have them journal every Thursday, that gives me the weekend to really dive into them and give like even comments, like show them how comments work, because I can comment on their journal and like take some time with it. If they're journaling on a Monday and I have to like get their like feedback in by like Wednesday, which is, or like I don't know when, I like honestly I'm just not gonna like I'm gonna literally give them a point value, and like that's not gonna be as like helpful and meaningful. So I think that like. And I think that's something maybe we tier that level of journal entry. Maybe a journal entry is just a point value for one day. Maybe it is like a extended journal entry. And I think that's a system that we have to build out, because as of right now, I think we just have like journal entries, but don't really have this like vision for what that looks like. And I think once we have that, we can like say that like maybe a Monday journal entry is like a 1-sentence response to a basic question that I can check in an hour and a half for an entire grade. And Thursday they do journal entry that like takes me a little longer, but I have the time to like really devote to each student's response, evaluate on a rubric, and then they get to look at those on Monday and evaluate their responses like and my comments to them. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I love the idea of like maybe taking advantage of like short journal entries or even multiple choice kind of format that we've talked about for Monday and Tuesday. And then just saying like every Thursday, where it's applicable, the last like 10 or 15 minutes of class is dedicated to a longer entry that then you guys give like meaningful comments and feedback on. Michael?
I agree that we need to tier it. I think I'm going back and forth on like what we want to do out of like the Monday and Tuesday time. I think Thursday is a great time for us to dig into the comments because if we're not going to give comments and feedback, it's not worth doing it to me.
Yeah.
So my question then is like on Monday and Tuesday, are we going to have them do it if we're not getting meaningful feedback, or are we going to do more
very
like
fair point.
or we're going to do it more like a skill-based or exit ticket-based kind of deal on those days, and then save the journal for like when it actually matters. So I don't want kids to like devalue the journal experience, and I'm afraid if we don't give them real feedback on it, they will devalue the journal experience.
I like the idea of like a Monday, Tuesday being like skill-based exit ticket style things that they're used to, so that we can test the skill, and then like Thursday diving into like a journal entry where they like get to see a journal or get to like really journal like meaningfully, and we get to give meaningful comments. Because I think the flip side of that is that like it's a learning curve. You're hitting two learning curves: a skill learning curve, and then like a user interface learning curve. So like I don't want to dock someone points on like content because they like didn't know how to like enter something in Google Docs for the month. You see what I'm saying? So Monday, Tuesday, I might be testing them just on the ability, like, did they understand like loops? But if I'm like using Google Docs to evaluate that, what I'm actually doing is evaluating them on their ability to use Google Docs, which I haven't really spent that much time instructing them on, and their ability to perform whatever task we're going over that day. Whereas like Thursday, we can actually devote to like, we're going to figure out how to word process, we're going to figure out how to use the web for online documents, and like then I can actually, we give them the time and the space to figure out how to use that and get there. Does that make sense? Like a lot of these kids are like then going to be like,
yeah, so let me summarize that down. Monday and Tuesday, we're either grading like something that they did in class, say like a Scratch project that they upload to a studio, or some kind of like multiple choice quiz where it's like a quick grade. And then Thursdays, we're going to give a more extended journal entry, and the grade is going to be built around not only the content, but writing as well. I think that's awesome. So you guys have some guided notes that are due on
Sunday.
Yeah, that gets kind of tricky though, because some of you, we're not all on the same page. So like, what Thursday is for Adnan is different than what well, whoever's doing costumes and sprites, I can't remember. Whoever's doing costumes versus sprites, put the journal entry in. Okay, Ben, so you're going to put the journal entry in. Adnan and Michael, yours will not have the journal entry. They'll have like a multiple choice or just more conventional stuff. Now,
sorry, real quick, can we like, can that be like a very, can you own just like structuring that out like in a way that like we know what journal entry we want to see from journal entries? I just feel like right now we kind of have the word journal entry out there, but there's not much in the way of like a 4-point rubric and like what we want to see from that. So for the future, when we're all developing journal entries, like just so we're all building off the same like rubric and having the same structure for them, my worry is that if we leave it open, it's going to be this like very subjective grading process that will make all of us, I don't know. It'll just that's when it gets kind of like tough to like keep it objective. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ben, yeah, if you will just append a journal entry component to the exit slip, that would be awesome. The week after that, we've got 2 days of the project, and then debugging is on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Who's doing the debugging lesson?
That's me.
I thought that was me.
Is that you? That might be you. Let me check.
It's in the email. Whoever's doing it, that would be the day that also has a journal entry. And then that will be the last journal entry for the first unit.
All right.
Okay, next thing, it would be great. So, like, you guys are getting me the guided notes by Sunday.
Yeah.
It would be great. I'm working very hard to make sure that I get you all of the edits and like comments by Tuesday. It would be great if we could get the revised guided notes uploaded to computer science lessons by our Friday meeting. Is that possible?
Totally.
Yeah.
Great.
Sorry they're not there. Yeah.
No, No, we hadn't stated that beforehand.
Okay,
I just
great.
today, as I was like getting ready for our meeting, I realized how valuable that would be. Okay, so installing Scratch locally. Do you guys have thumb drives?
Mm-hmm.
It would be awesome if you all could download onto your thumb drive Scratch. That was like a lifesaver with Ben. And like sometime over the course of the week, it would be great to get that installed on the computers. We have to use a special login and password that I'm going to email you.
Mm-hmm.
But that way, like if the internet drops, which is a very real possibility, probably more real for Adnan than Michael right now, unfortunately.
Nah.
That's a lifesaver because you don't have to have internet to run Scratch that way.
Is Liberty's like internet just super fast?
Rocky takes care of us, okay?
Yeah.
Well, Rocky's supposed to take care of all of us now.
No, sorry. Green takes care of us.
Okay, sorry. Keep going.
And we don't have exploding buses all over the place either.
Yeah. Ooh.
God.
Not buses, trucks. Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay, so recording and video streaming class. There is probably nothing that you all can do that's more valuable for me being able to like update and support the lessons and like look out into the future to make sure that you guys have what you need than like doing that. And I huge props for like being so on top of it. And like the more that we can like make sure that like each lesson, like if there's a way that you just have a computer that stays back there and then you set it up. So like Adnan emailed out those awesome instructions on like how to get this set
which
up.
aren't particularly great, actually. So careful with that.
I found some flaws.
Only the first set of instructions were good. Just I want to be clear because I don't want anyone to make the mistake that I did where I don't have a recorded class. So.
Yeah.
Hey Ryan, is the one class a day enough that we've been doing, or do you want more than one class a day copied?
I would really love to stream all 3 periods.
Oh, okay.
It's really helpful for me to be able to just watch all 3 back to back.
I thought you only wanted one a day. Okay.
No. If I can get every single class, that's great. And live streaming it so that I can watch it like during the day, because when I get it like emailed at like 4 or 5, I can't like fit them all in that evening, and then I'm in like the next day. And so if we can like just live stream it so I can like watch it while it's taking place, that would be perfect.
Well, you were asking me for earphones when I was in the class. What was that? Was that for something?
Yeah, I am going to. I'm just curious. I just want to see. I want to guinea pig what it's like to actually have a headset on and let me be able to like point out things via headset.
So I was thinking about that. I don't know, like, can we like budget like a? I could just do like this, but it would look kind of weird if I could like have one in, one out, and like, I don't know if that's like.
So like, pull one of these maneuvers and try and be like settled in the back of the collar.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy us some Bluetooth earpieces.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to experiment with that. It's not like I'm like watching you guys and feeling the need to do that. We're so close to being there anyways. I just want to see what it's like, because I think that it could be really valuable. I think it would be really valuable to, for like more PD purposes and like with a new teacher that's working on like one specific like behavioral strategy for like a principal to be able to point out like that kid's not where they need to be or whatever. So we're gonna guinea pig that if that's okay with you guys.
We're gonna look so nerdy.
Yeah. All of us are gonna.
Can we do it with Google Glass? Because then you can even see what we're seeing.
Yeah. 3 sets of Google Glass, Ryan.
Yeah. So I guess we have to get 3 sets of Google Glass.
Can you supply order that, please?
If there is anything that Robbie would be willing to splurge on, that would be it. 3 sets of Google Glasses.
Wait, Ryan, are you actually writing that down?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a great idea. What are you talking about? Am I writing it down? How great would that be?
That'd be
I
amazing.
mean, I think it's kind of necessary. I don't know that I can effectively instruct without you being able to see what I can see. So,
Andy already thinks you're the most expensive class at the school, and this is going to make it worse.
Yeah, actually, it really will. All right, but it's definitely something that needs to happen. So,
Hey, Ryan, just so you know, I'm at 10% battery and dying quick.
yeah, and we only have like 5 minutes, so that's fine. Okay, so Land School. It's on Google Drive. Just get it installed when you can. I think everything's self-explanatory. That's really more there like as a tool for you all. It doesn't really impact me as much. So like, there's no rush. Like, don't feel pressured. There's no like fake timeline there. Just know that it's there and ready to go. Lastly, just over the course of the next 2 weeks, I would love for you guys to start looking over that HTML CSS book I got you. It's a really great read. Like, you can go through it really quickly. It's like written in a way that's very tutorial-y and not like text heavy. We're going to start doing some like assignments out of it, like within like a week and a half or so. But the more that you get a chance to just sort of scan over at least the first couple chapters, the more set up you'll be for success there. How are we doing with our independent projects? It's the last thing on my list.
To be honest, this week was not good for that.
ditto.
So I
Rough
completely
week.
understand, and I know this is week 1, but I do want to. I also know what it's like being in a school, and like there's a potential for every week to be a bad week for that. And so, like, as crazy and hectic as things are, like, this is a project that gives you ownership over what you're learning. And like, I don't want that to lose value because there's other things that people are depending on you for. Like, everything in your power to like carve out time to make sure that you're committing, you know, your energy to something that's personal to you and something that you really like have buy-in on already, I think is going to be really valuable. So try and get a little bit of time each day to just like hack out a couple lines of code or look through a tutorial. Just don't let that turn into a thing that the day before our PD over independent projects, we like try and cram 4 hours. Like, that won't be very effective.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, well, you guys are rock stars. Is there anything else that I can help you with, or any other questions that you all have?
Just get this Google Glass set.
Yeah, I don't know that I can. I honestly don't know that I can teach past August without Google Glass. So
I don't know if I can teach past tomorrow without Google Glass.
yeah, so
All right, I'll get the order in today. I'll make sure I'll get the approval. I'm sure Rocky
Great,
will
thank
have
you.
no issues with me submitting that.
$4,500 for 3 glasses. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Cool. Well, all right.
Just gonna
Have
make
a
your
great
fundraise for
weekend.
those.
Yep.
Yeah. Do a Kickstarter, like make like some like parody of like how poor and deprived we are without our Google Glasses.
Exactly.
Can you believe there's teachers all across the country teaching without Google Glasses? Okay, all right, you guys are awesome. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.